If Boston College wants to finally reach that 8-win mark, this is the year they have to do it. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to predict the Boston College Eagles' schedule and record heading in to 2022. A big year for Jeff Hafley up in Chestnut Hill. The Eagles guys went just 6-6 last year, started the year 4-0, but then lost 4 straight games, mostly due in part to the loss of their star quarterback in Phil Jurkovec. And if he can stay healthy, the Eagles could be in store for a special year. We take a look at their numbers, guys, brought to you by College Football Encyclopedia. The Eagles don't return a whole lot. They just returned 60% of the production from last year. That's 81st in the nation. And the offense last year struggled at times due to the loss of Jurkovec and his injury. 93rd in the entire country. But if he can stay healthy, he will be one of the better quarterbacks within the ACC. He will be paired alongside Pat Garwo, who rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, and Zay Flowers, one of the top wide receivers in the ACC, accumulating over 1,600 reception yards over the last 2 years. The only weakness for the offensive line or offense is really the offensive line, and that's going to be key in terms of protecting Jurkovec and making sure he stays healthy. The defense, guys, was 28th in the nation last year. They returned 7 starters on that side of the ball, and they are loaded pretty much everywhere. The secondary, more so than anything else, a secondary that was 3rd in the country last year against the pass. So this is a team, guys, that is going to be very tough, will be a trap game for many teams. And again, this is a Boston College team that might find themselves finally eclipsing or at least hitting that 8-win mark for the first time since 2009. We'll take a look at their schedule. It's pretty dang favorable. They open up the year against Rutgers, and they cannot afford to overlook the Scarlet Knights out of the Big Ten. This is a team that went 5-8 last year, is trending in the right direction under Greg Schiano. It was a major rebuilding project, and a Rutgers team that's improving offensively, especially with their new quarterback in Gavin Wimsatt. That's the kicker, though. Gavin Wimsatt is their brand new young quarterback. Boston College secondary will be too tough for him in what will be his first collegiate start. Boston College wins this game, especially at home over the Scarlet Knights. They're 1-0. They then travel to Virginia Tech. Blacksburg's a tough place to play. The thing is, this year, guys, the Hokies are quite the anomaly. No one really knows what's going to come out of Brent Pry and Virginia Tech. Boston College beat them 17-3 last year. Virginia Tech's defense last year was 78th in the country, and the offense right now definitely has a lot of questions. So right now, only in the second week of the season, when you look at it from a coaching standpoint and from a talent standpoint, Boston College owns the edge in all of those. The only edge they don't have is home field advantage. And while, again, Blacksburg is such a difficult place to play, I think this Eagles team can overcome that. I'm going to give Boston College a good quality win in ACC play over the Hokies, guys. The Hokies team that will get better as the year goes on, but will go through, a few growing pains early in the year. Boston College 2-0, and they're 3-0 with a win over Maine. They then travel to Florida State, a team they lost to 26-23 last year at home. Again, without Phil Jurkovec, we understand that, at least on a fully healthy one. But Boston College is a team that typically struggles against the Seminoles. Whether it's in Tallahassee, whether it's in Chestnut Hill, Boston College just struggles against the team out of Tallahassee. Boston College is now, guys, going on the road to Florida State against a Florida State team that is improving drastically in year 3 under Mike Norvell. Jordan Travis took a major step forward last year. We expect him to do it again now. The secondary for Florida State should improve drastically. The run defense should improve drastically. Their weakest point, probably the offensive line, very similar to Boston College. But with the game being in Tallahassee, guys, and with Florida State trending in the right direction, we are giving the edge to the Seminoles here. That is extremely difficult place to play, and we believe that the Seminoles get it done in a year where they need to get to a bowl game. So Boston College had their first loss of the year. They're 3-1, but we believe they bounce back and beat Louisville at home, become 4-1. Yes, they lost to the Cardinals by 14 last year, but this is the team, guys, in Louisville that's going to be hit or miss. Offensively, they should be great. Malik Cunningham at quarterback is going to be phenomenal for the Cardinals, just like he was last year. But the Cardinals defense has to step up. This is a Cardinals defense that gave up over 170 rushing yards per game. 170 rushing yards per game. And I believe that Boston College will be able to exploit that. I believe that the Boston College Eagles will be able to put up some pretty good offensive numbers against the Louisville defense that still needs some work. So in a close game, somewhat similar to last year, Boston College gets the win at home. They're 4-1. And of course, we believe they will drop the game to Clemson. We did say in our Clemson video that we think this could be a trap game for the Tigers. coming off a couple physical games against North Carolina State and Wake Forest. Boston College only fell to the Tigers 19-13 last year, but this Clemson team, to me, is going to be drastically different. The defensive line will arguably be the best in the entire country. I believe they're going to work out their offensive issues, whether DJ Uiagalelei is the quarterback or maybe Cade Klubnik. Whoever is under center for the Tigers will be better than it was last year. Clemson is going to bounce back in a big way. So even though the Eagles get to host this game, even though this might be a top 25 matchup on October 8th, Clemson simply is just too good, and their defense is too good. They'll shut down this Boston College offense, and I do believe that the Clemson run game will be able to exploit that Boston College rushing defense that's a little shaky. So they lose to the Tigers 4-2. They get their bye week and go on the road to take on Wake Forest, which will be one of the better offenses in the country this year. Luckily, as we mentioned, Boston College had the third-ranked passing defense in the nation last year. So if they can slow down Wake Forest a little bit through the air and force the Demon Deacons to run, which they don't want to do, the Eagles have a chance. But Wake Forest beat the Eagles 41-10 last year. I know there were injuries and there were a lot of other factors that went into it, but that's still a 31-point swing, and the Eagles have to go to Winston-Salem. I just don't see it happening. The Demon Deacons are once again going to be legit. They're going to be tough. They're going to be electric. I just don't think the Eagles can hang. So they drop the game to the Demon Deacons. They win the road game at UConn. That shouldn't be an issue. We believe they win the home game against Duke. That shouldn't be an issue. The game against the Blue Devils is a game where they're facing arguably the worst team in the ACC, so they should be able to take down Duke. And then those last three games are going to be pretty tough. A road game at NC State, a team they fell to 33-7 last year. Now they have to travel on the road to NC State, an NC State team that's going to be even better than they were last year. Devin Leary is back. The wide receivers are back. The defense is loaded from top to bottom. Arguably Dave Derwin's best squad that he's ever had with the Wolfpack, a team that could challenge for the ACC title this year. The Eagles have to go on the road to take on that game after a couple cupcake games. I believe they fall to the Wolfpack, and I believe they fall also on the road at Notre Dame. If this game was in Chestnut Hill, I'd give them maybe a better chance, but they're not going to win in South Bend. Arguably, to me, the biggest storyline in this game is Phil Jurkovec's return. Remember, Jurkovec was the quarterback, never really started, but was a quarterback with Notre Dame, transferred out of the program to Boston College. He'll now finally be getting his start in South Bend. It's just not going to be for the Fighting Irish. So probably a very emotional game for him. But senior night for the Fighting Irish. South Bend, one of the more difficult places to play in the country. The road slate, obviously very difficult for Boston College this year. I just don't see the Eagles pulling that one out. They close out the year, guys, against Syracuse, a team they lost to by 15 last year. But, again, the injuries, the inconsistency, things like that were such a big factor in Boston College's semi-disappointing year. Hopefully those aren't going to be the case in the season finale. So on senior night for the Eagles against a Syracuse team that I believe is going to be better than their final record indicates, but a Syracuse team that really all they can do well is run the ball, I believe Boston College wins this game. The Eagles' rushing defense is not great by any means, but I believe Jeff Hafley, a defensive mind, will come up with a solid game plan to shut down that run game, especially on their home turf. You shut that down and you force Garrett Schrader to throw, Syracuse I don't think will be able to win. And that's exactly what I think happens. The Eagles come out with a big defensive game plan. Jurkovec has a great, potentially final last game with the Eagles, and we have Boston College finishing 7-5 in their regular season. Now again, have they hit that 8-win mark? No. But hopefully this time the Eagles bowl game won't get canceled. The last few for Boston College have been canceled due to weather or COVID or whatever it would be. Hopefully the Eagles get to go to a quality bowl game this year. 7-5 would get them that. Hopefully they will get to play that game. And if they can win that bowl game, the Eagles will hit the 8-win mark for the first time since 2009. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to check those out and become a part of our team today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.